League, and after losing to the champions last Sunday, it's another big one for Warrington. Leeds are in the middle of a mini revival. Wilderspool again stages the match of the day. The moment that might yet decide the destiny of the big league title. Paul Cullen's tackle on Andy Farrell last week ruled unfair, and Frano Bottica's boot won a priceless victory for Wigan. Mike Gregory and company devastated. They were so near yet so far against the champions. But Warrington have emerged as true title contenders, and in Jonathan Davis have a man who can push them all the way. Neil Harmon left Wilderspool for the richer pickings of Yorkshire. He faces a stiff test here today. But it's Leeds youngsters who are suddenly coming good. The boot of Graham Holroyd winning the points against Cass in midweek. At 32, Ellery Hanley remains one of the big league's biggest stars. The Leeds skipper still has a powerful influence on the game, just as he did at Headingley, when Gary Schofield's try gave Leeds their most unlikely win of the season. Well, Warrington were beaten by Wigan last Sunday. They know they must not lose here today, or they're going to find it hard to stay in the title race. Their fullback is Lee Penny. His only league try came against Leeds last September. Mark Forster scored the try which put Warrington back in the game against Wigan. He's crossed in each of his last two. Alan Bateman's in the centre, the Welsh international. Watch out for him, working hard in defence. Jonathan Davis is the game's leading point scorer, 204 points made up of 12 tries, 75 goals and 6 drop goals. Rob Myler's enjoying the best season of his career, and he's on the wing in 5. Kevin Ellis has been involved in every game so far for Warrington, the first 3 as substitute. Greg Mackey is the Warrington skipper. He's not missed a game yet this season. Up front, Craig Tietzel is the prop forward, the rugged Australian. The hooker is John Thursfield. He missed 4 games over Christmas and New Year, but he's back now. And Roland Phillips continues in the front row, back in favour just after loan spells with Oldham and Rochdale last season. David Elliott takes over from Paul Cullen in the second row. Cullen is injured. He'll be out for up to 6 weeks. And Mike Gregory had a fine game against Wigan. He missed all of last season because of injury. Kelly Shelford completes the Warrington lineup, enjoying his best spell in this country. And the coach at Wilderspool is Brian Johnson, a distinguished full-back for this club in his day. Leeds are renowned as being the richest club in the game, but this season they're giving some of their promising young players a chance, and 4 straight wins seems to indicate the policy is paying off. Let's check the side that Doug Lawton turns out here at Wilderspool. Alan Tate is the fullback. With 8 tries so far, he's just 1 short of last season's tally. Jim Fallon is on the wing, a try against Warrington last September in a great game, and Leeds won it 21-19. Francis Cummins is one of those exciting youngsters. 6 tries this season, including 3 in the matches over Christmas and New Year. Simon Irvington, the centre, he has a good goal-kicking record here, but I fancy he won't be getting the job today. Jonathan Scales is the 19-year-old who was plucked from Gosforth Rugby Union towards the end of last season. No Gary Schofield, but this fellow's playing so well just now. Graham Holroyd struck 4 goals from 4 attempts to win the game against Castleford on Wednesday. Gareth Stevens, the scrum half. Since Leeds took Jason Donoghue on loan from Lee, Stevens has blossomed. He's playing really well. Neil Harmon played 146 big league games for Warrington before his transfer last summer, and James Lowes makes his 48th consecutive appearance today for Leeds since he joined from Hunslet. Harvey Howard, the £105,000 signing from Widnes this week. He played as a sub against Castleford. Today it's his full debut. Mike O'Neill is another former Widnes man, 33-year-old, and he's a playing colleague of Doug Lawton at Norton Park. Richie Ayres, the 4th former Widnes man in this Leeds side. It's his 14th consecutive appearance since his try-scoring debut against Hull KR. And Ellery Hanley completes the lineup, the man of the match against Castleford on Tuesday. He is the Leeds captain. And the coach at Headingley, he's well into his 3rd year in charge, Doug Lawton. So Leeds must hope their revival continues here at Wilderspool. If it does, Warrington really can kiss goodbye to the title. It's Warrington against Leeds, the home match coming up on Sky's Big League. Lee Penny, their outstanding young fullback, only 19 years of age. His only league try came against Leeds in September. 3 against Hunslet in November, but none since. He played in both academy test matches against the junior Kiwis last autumn, and he's also an under-21 international. And Roland Phillips, the Welshman, gets another chance. despite being pulled off against Wigan last week after he dropped one or two easy passes. Phillips had loan spells with Oldham and Rochdale last season, but obviously now he's very much back in favour. And Leeds emerge having lost just once in 5 visits to Wilderspool since 1990. They won here 31 points to 24 exactly 12 months ago. A mini revival is underway at Headingley. They've won their last 4 matches in succession, and Leeds now are back in the top 8. Graham Holroyd, the young man who has taken the goal-kicking responsibilities, 4 goals from 4 shots to win the points against Castleford on Wednesday. And Harvey Howard, £105,000 worth of talent from Widnes. He made his debut against Castleford as a substitute, but this is his first start in his new club's colours. Let's just check the Warrington side for you. Penny, Forster, Bateman, Davis, Myler, Ellis and Mackey. The backs unchanged from last week. One change in the forwards. David Elliott comes into the second row in place of the injured Paul Cullen. It's Tietzel, Thursfield, Phillips, Elliott, Gregory and Shelford. And the substitutes, Paul Derbyshire and the promising young teenager Mark Hilton. Now the lead side. Tate at fullback. Fallon, Cummins, Irving, Scales, Holroyd and Gareth Stevens. And the forwards, Neil Harmon, the former Warrington man, Lowes, Howard, O'Neill as Hanley the captain, and the substitutes, the 17-year-old Marcus Vasilakopoulos and Gary Rose. Rose a bit unlucky really to come out of this pack, but he makes way obviously for Harvey Howard. Match referee is David Campbell of Widnes, 39 years old. It's his 5th year in Grade 1, and he refereed the Lancashire Cup final. That's been his biggest day in season 91-92. So, a highly important match for Warrington at the top of the Stones Bidder Championship. This is the match of the day at Wilderspool. Leeds, the visitors, get us underway. And Warrington, Steve-O, know that it's win or bust.
Yes, it's very vital that they get the 2 points, but also for Leeds, they need a good convincing win here. They are not the best travellers. They do not like coming away from Headingley. But if they could pull off a win today, it really would set the scene for them to have a very good, confident cup run.
This is Roland Phillips with the drive forward by Warrington. First half minute of this match. The pitch obviously quite soft underfoot yet again this week, although we've had a bit of frost in this area. There's been plenty of rain. It's the last tackle in this first set of 6 for Warrington. The ball's back with Davis. He's under pressure from Holroyd, but he clips it downfield to his former Widnes teammate Alan Tate. Tate in a rich vein of form at the moment. Head-to-head over the years, well, nothing to choose between these two sides, is there? 20 victories for Leeds, 19 for Warrington. James Lowes is the dummy half. This is Harvey Howard. That's the sort of run that Doug Lawton paid all the money for, £105,000. Gareth Stevens, the little half-back. So good to see so many of these young players, Steve-O, in this Leeds side. Always been regarded as the Bank of England side, with players like Richie Ayres coming in for big money, but the youngsters beginning to make their mark.
Yeah, it's great to see. They've always done very well of Leeds when they've started to draft these youngsters in. But they really need a strong effort from the forwards. And when you look through this Leeds pack, Harmon, Lowes, Howard, O'Neill, Ayres and Hanley, there's a lot of experience and a lot of class. If they can build a platform, then Leeds with those youngsters can really fight.
Warrington are penned inside their own 10-metre zone. The strong run from David Elliott was met by Harmon and also Lowes. That's Thursfield. Good running from dummy half. 2 minutes gone, still 0-0. He's lost the ball there. But it's play on, says the referee.
Pretty fortunate there, the hooker Thursfield. Placed the ball on the ground, but was it interfered with there by Mike O'Neill? Referee David Campbell was looking at the Leeds defence to get back on side. None of the touch judges saw it either.
Jim Fallon has the ball for Leeds, but under pressure from Ellis and company. Shelford is there. So too Greg Mackey. Now this is Simon Irving. Trying to run through Phillips and Thursfield, can't do so. Lowe's again in at dummy half. The runner was Harman. Was that forward? David Campbell says play on. Hanley this time. Such strength from Hanley. Stands in the tackle, gets the ball away to Lowe's. And a bit of argy-bargy between Lee Penny and James Lowe's.
Pretty high from the full-back Lee Penny. James Lowe's a bit of a tough nut himself. Doesn't shirk it. You can see Penny going right over the top of the shoulders. Nothing really malicious, but anything above the shoulders, that has been the message from Chapeltown Road to all the referees. And there we see the elbow going back from the hooker. James Lowe's, as I mentioned, a lively boy.
Well, Lowe's was the man who was fouled first, and so it's a Leeds penalty, and Holroyd is going to have a shot at goal here. He's just about 9 metres inside the Warrington half, but it's just to the right of the post. Perfect position really for a left footer, and the wind is at Holroyd's back. What a blustery day here at Wilderspool. The ball just rolling off the little mound of sand. But a chance here for the youngster Holroyd, only 18. 4 from 4 against Castleford on Wednesday night. This would be a great kick if he can get it. He got under it a bit. He sliced it too, and that wasn't the best of efforts. Penny will run the ball out for Warrington.
Perhaps a little bit of nerves just creeping into the youngster there. With quite a let-off for Warrington. But under an enormous pressure, they've been penned in their own half this entire first 4.5 minutes. That's got to be a penalty, surely.
Well, Elliott dropped it. The referee was on the spot and says play on. Leeds in possession.
Well, it appeared to me that there was fingers in there from Mike O'Neill.
Leeds on, standing round to debate it. This is Holroyd again, an excellent run from the young standoff half. Lowe's at dummy half. He finds Stevens, who helps it wide to Hanley. Hanley will hang on to it. Hanley will run at Davis and get past Davis, but he couldn't get away from Elliott. Tate, the dummy half on his own. Tate, he's over. That's the first try, and Alan Tate, his 9th try of the season. He is in excellent form.
Warrington paid the price for going too high on the big man, Ellery Hanley. He is so strong. He couldn't get away there. Ellis should have made the tackle, but you can see there they're going far too high. It was Elliott that actually brought him down. But a quick play the ball. He tries to get up quickly, does Hanley, and he can see the blind side. He's very weak indeed. Only one man there, that was Davis. It was a great run from Holroyd that put them in this position. The long ball out wide, the dummy, the handoff was too powerful for Ellis. I'm afraid that Jonathan Davis, now you can see that Davis is the only man on the blind side to help out Rob Myler, and Tate knew it. That was great thinking from the Leeds fullback.
Good try then from Alan Tate. A great start for Leeds, and Holroyd is jogging back, and he will have a big smile on his face, because just a second or two ago, this was the conversion attempt from far out on the touchline, and what a kick that was. Magnificent conversion from Holroyd. Leeds ahead by 6 points to 0. And Warrington immediately are making a change. Let's find out the details from Mark Wallace.
Warrington making an early substitution. 14, Paul Derbyshire has come on. He's played hooker for the first time this season against Saints and Wigan, and going off is David Elliott, number 11. He scored just 1 try this season against Featherstone.
So already Warrington forced to make a change. Elliott, the man who came in for the injured Cullen, and there is number 14, Paul Derbyshire, straight into the tackling on Ellery Hanley. Fallon in possession now for Leeds. This is a good start for the men from Headingley. Lowe's clapping his hands. Harman with the run. And he loses the ball in the tackle, and it went forward. Lowe's came round the back to pick up. The ball had gone forward, and the referee says rightly it's a knock-on.
That really was never on from the prop forward, Neil Harmon, trying to turn in the tackle and release the ball. When you're in your own quarter, it's vital to keep possession.
Warrington then with a chance to strike back immediately. Davis, it was forward by a mile. Well, we could see that, and David Campbell's a lot closer to it than us. That was by 2 yards forward. Play on, he says. Gregory gets it to Bateman. It's now with the winger Forster. Good pace from Forster, try, but there will be controversy surrounding this because a pass in the movement was way forward. But Forster wasn't sticking around to talk about it, and he scores his third in successive matches.
Let's see the forward pass first. You can see how Davis has been stopped. And look at that. Myler has got the ball, and as Eddie said, it would be 2 yards forward. But it's all about getting the link working. And when you've got Mackey and Ellis, look at the long ball out there. Super stuff. Penny had moved up into the line. Super play by Gregory. And out wide. Look at the in and out. And I'm afraid he just leaves him for dead, doesn't he? Oh, that is super play. Mark Foster, that is excellent football. It had to be scored, and no wonder the smile on the winger's face. Super stuff.
So what a start we've had here. Leeds taking a 6-point lead. Warrington striking back, and Jonathan Davis, the game's top point scorer, with a difficult conversion attempt. As difficult as Holroyd's. But they're all going over. The scores are level, 6 points all. This match is bubbling along beautifully.
Long ball out wide. Look at the two Leeds defence. They should be up there. They weren't, and that is how the try was scored. Very slow to come up it. Look at that. In and out, in and out. That is absolutely wonderful play. Super stuff there. Scales had no chance against his opposite.
Well, Mark Forster's confidence is running high at the moment. A try last weekend against Wigan. A try in the match immediately before that. That's 3-3 for the Warrington winger. 6-all. 10 minutes gone. It has all the makings, this, of another classic on Sky Sports. Thursfield, the dummy half. Kelly Shelford. And this is Derbyshire, taken by Hanley, the oohs and ahs from the crowd. Mackey. Under pressure from Mike O'Neill, he could go nowhere. And he picked up a bang then. Wind taken out of the little man's sails. Here's Shelford. What a lovely run from Shelford. Support is there from Bateman. Penny's calling for the ball inside. It's gone to Ellis. Tate wraps him up. Ball comes free. Movement continues. Shelford, who started it, tries to finish it. Sensational attack from Warrington, but I feel they should have scored.
It was bombed. It went to the wrong man.
Last tackle. Davis angling towards the corner, releasing the pass. Forster's in again. Oh, this is great stuff from Warrington. It looked like they'd thrown the chance away, but they came back on the last tackle, moved the ball across, and Forster for his second.
This was the run that got him there. Shelford backed up there. It's a beautiful pass out wide. But Alan Bateman made the initial run. He passed to the wrong man, in my opinion. He went behind him. Penny was clear to the line. But Ellis somehow got it going. Shelford backed up. Superb play. Now, from this play, the ball, listen for the pop, pop, pop. This is champagne stuff. Super pass from Mackey. Look at it go out wide. Jonathan Davis running the angle. He brought Gregory back on the inside to just make Tate hesitate. Enough. Look how he brings the man inside. This is just enough for Tate to take it, but look how he draws the winger. And the man is in for his second. Forster. Super stuff.
Mark Forster has hit Leeds with 2 tries in 3 minutes. That's the first time that Forster's over for 2 in a match in 12 months. Davis with another difficult conversion attempt. This time it swings wide of the posts. But champagne stuff from both sides early on here. 10-6.
Davis does a run that way, but the man inside means that Tate just hesitates, and it's enough. There you can see, Tate has no chance to stop the winger. Whoa, we're in for a corker.
So Leeds, having established a 6-point advantage, now find themselves down 10-6, and we've only had 13 minutes. Some great stuff on show already here. And Richie Ayres penalised for interference.
Got sucked in a little bit there to the second row, Richie Ayres. See the Warrington player there lashing out, trying to milk it for all it's worth. Superstar Paul Derbyshire, the substitute, kicking, trying to move around. Pretty difficult for the referees, of course. Sucked in there with a lack of experience from a man that we should think would have a lot of experience.
Davis with that penalty, placed it, you might have noticed, on the ground because of this strong wind that's in Warrington's faces. And here come Warrington again with Roland Phillips. We might have expected a day of great stuff here at Wilderspool today. Both these sides have identical attacking records. They have both registered 324 points for the season. Warrington have scored 52 tries to Leeds 55. And that just confirms what I've been saying, but it's Warrington's defence that has been tighter than Leeds. Gregory to Shelford, quick hands, and Penny was all wrapped up by Irving.
Beautiful ball and all tackle, he read it well, didn't he, Irving?
Roland Phillips, straight at Holroyd, needed a bit of help and assistance from his captain, did the teenage standoff half. Last tackle here for Warrington, the swarming forward. Shelford, lovely kick over the top to Ellis. Myler, try! Brilliant play from Warrington. Beautiful chip over the top, and the ball was worked out wide, and Robert Myler, 11 tries now this season. He's having a wow of a time.
Well, how many bottles of champagne are we going to have on ice tonight? Beautiful stuff here. It was a well-worked plan. Ellis takes the ball from the Shelford kick. Myler juggles, but it's there. That is absolutely sensational play. Watch Shelford. He just hesitates, knows that Ellis is going through. He was not offside. Referee David Campbell waved to say play on. Myler juggled, but the magician pulls up the 4 points. What a fight back from Warrington.
And what a lovely chip over the top from Kelly Shelford. He's certainly enjoying his best season in England, the New Zealand international. And Rob Myler with that try. It's his best season of his career. A try also against Leeds in September. Well, all these tries have been scored in the corners so far today. Here's another difficult conversion attempt coming up for Jonathan Davis. It's held in the wind. It just dropped short of the bar. Touch judges moved up to check it didn't creep over. But Warrington 14, Leeds 6.
Beautiful play. You can see Ellis there. He's onside. The ball is just to be put into this area. Look where the sweepers are. There's Tate at full-back. Stevens way out of position. Pretty hard, but look at that. Sensational play. Was it a touch forward? It could have been.
Derbyshire with the run, met by Mike O'Neill. There have been changes, substitutes. Let's check it out with Mark Wallace.
Yes, Warrington have made another change. Number 15, Mark Hilton, has come on. And number 8, Craig Teetle, has gone off. He apparently has got a groin strain.
So it's a youngster, Hilton, of 18, for Teetle, the Australian. And what a prospect they reckon they've got here at Wilderspool in Mark Hilton. That looked a bit high from O'Neill on Thursfield. Play on, says David Campbell. Bateman tries to continue the attack. He's flattened, though, by Holroyd. Thursfield again to Mackey. Long ball out wide to Ellis. Ellis through the gap. Gregory in support. This is great attacking football from Warrington.
Not only great stuff, but wonderful play by the coach, Brian Johnson, who's the match at getting the ball out wide against these youngsters. It's a pretty inexperienced three-quarter line out wide for Leeds, and they're making them pay.
Bateman screamed for that. Here's Foster for the hat-trick. Oh, Foster with the third try, and he gets the hat-trick, and Warrington are running riot.
Keep the ball alive. Davis just steps back on the inside. Look at the blanket defence. They're not in a straight line. I mentioned they move out wide. Shelford misses a man out. Beautiful play. That is exceptional centre play by Alan Bateman. And Forster in for the hat-trick. This has been absolutely sensational football. It was a break by Ellis that put them in this position. Look at the step there. There's three men go for Davis. The long ball out wide. Shelford misses a man. I'm afraid this defence for Leeds is absolutely shot to ribbons out wide. They are not moving up in one line of defence. But to be fair to Warrington, they are just keeping this ball alive so effectively.
Brian Johnson and Clive Griffiths, coaching duo here at Wilderspool. They won't want this first half to end. Jonathan Davis then with another conversion attempt. Just one successful, all out wide though. This time he just clips the post and finds the mark. 20 points to 6.
Notice the experience of Shelford. This man here, Irving, is coming for this guy, but the ball is going out wide. That leaves the gap. Superb play. All he has to do is pull in Jonathan's scales, and Forster, try number 3.
His first hat-trick in 7.5 years. He is running hot, and Warrington know that this match was their make or break, and aren't they going about it in exactly the right fashion?
Also, it must have been a long time since someone's got a hat-trick of tries within the first quarter of a game. 19 minutes has only gone, and Forster has 3 against his name. Super stuff.
It's Gregory. Again, they're going out wide with Bateman, but that's a better tackle from Irving. Warrington at the moment playing with a big smile on their faces. And no doubt people all round this ground who have got the primrose yellow and blue favours on, they have got big smiles on their faces too. Davis dumps the ball into the Leeds half of the field, finds touch.
Well, it's all going right for Warrington, isn't it? Picked the spot well, but the way that Warrington have kept this ball alive, the amount of hands that have been involved in all the movements. And we mentioned the coach, Brian Johnson. He really has studied the video well. As I mentioned, not a great deal of experience in that Leeds three-quarter line. Fallon and Scales, former rugby union players, Irving and Scott, and Francis Cummins, only a 17-year-old. And they've got it right, haven't they? Get it out wide.
20 points to 6. It's a great start for Warrington. Leeds trying to get back. Let's hear from the man who's left the field, Craig Teetsall, the Australian, with Mark Wallace.
Craig, after a whirlwind start by Leeds, Warrington have just come straight back into it.
Yeah, well, we felt they were a side that, you know, they're either going to be very competitive or you can put a lot of points on them. They got a good start to us. We're running into a strong wind here, and it's good that we were able to bounce back, and now we're fairly well in control of the game.
And after last week, it must be great for the boys and the fans.
Yeah, last week was disappointing, and it was very important to us psychologically that we, came back today and had a good game and, won the game. But, mate, the fans have been good all year, and they would have stuck by, today after last week, no matter what happened.
We just saw an excellent piece of defensive play from Lee Penny, the Warrington fullback, diffusing Graham Holroyd's bomb. And Doug Lawton, watching from the dugout at Wilderspool, he is not a happy man at the moment. His team started so well, but since then they've been systematically taken apart by this rampant Warrington side. Mackey drills the ball along the ground, aims it towards the 10-metre mark and finds it.
Super play by the Australian Greg Mackey. a great thinker, always looking for the opportunity. And it's been some time since I've seen Greg Mackey and Kevin Ellis attacking a defence with so much vim and vigour. They really are on the boil today.
That's Jonathan Scales. Let's take a look at the possession statistic, and well, every stat tells its own story. But Warrington there caught offside, moving too quickly forward from that play the ball.
Well, quite a few to pick from there. Mark Hilton was about 2 yards in front of the referee, David Campbell. And it's vital now for Leeds to steady their ship, try to keep possession. It's been a long time since they really have any subsequent passage of play. And they know it's important now to just try to control things, not to panic. There is plenty of time for them.
Hanley runs straight, but Gregory is there, Thursfield's there, and Roland Phillips was there. Holroyd to Richie Ayres. This is a better run from Ayres. The ball back inside. Well, Jim Fallon took an eternity to get it, but it was up round his neck, to be fair, and he did well to hang on. Sloppy play, though, from Leeds there. This is Mike O'Neill now. Gets the ball away to Hanley. It was risky business. Warrington have it back.
Well, that was a panic football that they didn't need. I mentioned they'd plenty of time to get back into their game plan. All right, they've been rocked with these brilliant tries from Warrington, but look, 24 minutes, that's all it's gone.
It's Davis attacking that left-hand side, trying to find Myler, but instead finding the dugout.
This really is sensational football. You can see that Jonathan Davis had no real control. I suspect he was trying to call the wingman back inside, Rob Myler. That last minute, lost control, straight into the dugout.
Warrington, 4 tries in 10 minutes against Leeds after Leeds took the initiative and led 6-0. Interference at the play of the ball. David Campbell picks out Gregory and Ellis.
And rightly so. He wanted to get on with it. Look at that. Ellis just clicks his heels. Good refereeing by David Campbell.
There's a certain flamboyance about this Warrington side, Steve-O, this season that has not been evident in the recent past.
That is so. There's no doubt that the introduction of Jonathan Davis has certainly helped there. But we've seen over the last couple of weeks that they're pretty strong in defence too.
They're going to have to be strong here now because this is Fallon. Quick play the ball, Lowe's. Hanley came for it. They left it instead for Ayres. That's a good run from Ayres, and it's great defence, but Hanley has been penalised for obstruction. He stood there, Ayres powered onto it.
Well, there's a run around, and you can see Hanley just pushed off. I think it was the hooker, John Thursfield, away. Here he comes through. And yes, it's Thursfield that he pushes away. Actually, Hanley pushed him back into the tackle. Well spotted by David Campbell. Also a good refereeing also in the fact that even though that there were Warrington players holding the man down at the play of the ball, I know he didn't get his foot to it. He could have penalised Warrington, but he allowed Leeds the advantage.
$20 points to 6. Penalties going Leeds' way 3-2. But the match has slipped away from them in the opening quarter here. Myler, scorer of one of their tries, enveloped by 4. Talking to Peter Hyam, Steve-O, the Warrington chairman, in the boardroom after last week's meeting with Wigan, he wasn't too downhearted, you know, because he seems to think that they're 12 months ahead of schedule here at Wilderspool. He would expect his team to be champing at the bit for the title this time next year. This is all a bonus, they think.
Listen, with play like this, they could be champing at it this season.
Mackey. Gregory, they're opening them up again down this touchline. Shelford. This is Bateman. And it bounced off the chest of Hanley. Now, what will the touch judge and referee decide?
Well, it had no chance to get to that, so it should be a Leeds feed. Hanley made no attempt to go for that ball. You cannot deliberately throw the ball at a person, so this will be a feed and head to Leeds. For those that don't understand the rules, you cannot throw a ball against a player and think you can get away with it.
Here's Irving. It must be said, you know, that Leeds haven't played badly here, have they? They have just been blown aside by this Warrington team. A Warrington side that this time last year included Neil Harmon. Holroyd. Ayres called for that.
Don't worry, Leeds have got the stars to be able to pull this game out of the fire. They've just got to be patient and not panic. Panic is going to be their worst enemy.
Michael Neal, with all the experience in the world, the 33-year-old. It's the last tackle. It's now with Holroyd. Oh, that was shot down by Greg Mackey. That's great play from the little halfback. Hanley came over the top with a swinging arm. Referee says play on. Here's Phillips. Strong run from big Roland Phillips.
Not only did the referee say play on, he had a running caution to Ellery Hanley. He saw the swinging right arm.
Thursfield the dummy half. Ellis. Long ball, Gregory. Davis. That was forward. Penalty, Warrington. Stealing the ball and the tackle.
Well, that's the second occasion that Davis has got away with a forward pass. But Penny really is in excellent form and loves to chime in from the fullback position. Now, even though the penalty was given quite close to the line, you are allowed to take it back as many yards as you feel fit. This means that Leeds will be the full complement of 10 metres away from the attacking side. Good thinking there by Davis.
Coming up to half an hour then, and Warrington with more pressure on this Leeds line.
Well, will they do one of the famous crisscross moves? Warrington do this to perfection.
There's Shelford. Missed out Bateman, found Penny, who took that with his back to the Leeds posts. Shelford on his own from dummy half. Saw they were a bit short down that left-hand side. Gets away from one, but couldn't get away from the second man in. It was Richie Ayres. He brushed Lowe's away, but couldn't escape the clutches of the second rower. Mackey delayed the pass to Davis, and Davis, unable to do anything with it, is forced out wide and forced into touch.
That was great defence from Leeds. They really were stretched. Their scrambling defence was superb then. Crisscrosses running at the angle. Davis ran out of space. Great defence.
Jonathan Davis yesterday was commentating on the Salford-Wigan semi-final for a radio station in Wales. This is Kevin Ellis. Ball out wide again. Myler cutting back inside. Myler almost through. Good job that Hanley was there. Warrington on the charge again. To Davis. Ball out wide. There's Penny. There's another try. They have been cut to ribbons down this right-hand touchline. Have Leeds. Lee Penny, 5th of the season.
Very rarely you win one against the head and feed, and that's what Warrington did. Look how they used the dummy there for Gregory. Davis, a superb pass. And I'm afraid this poor winger, Jonathan Scales, is having a bit of a nightmare. He's been left with 2, and on this occasion he was left with 3. See how the dummy there, the runner coming through. Irving moves up quickly, but this poor winger, Jonathan Scales, wondering what on earth is coming to him. And Penny, as we mentioned, loves to link in from the fullback position.
The Great Britain under-21 international, who played in both academy tests against the junior Kiwis. And Lee Penny, certainly one for the future. And Davis now with his 5th conversion attempt. Well, the crowd here at Wilderspool is rising to this Warrington team. And coach Brian Johnson, although he doesn't display too many emotions during the course of the game, he must be delighted with what he's seen. And he just tried to adjust the angle a bit too much there, Davis. So it's 24-6 now to Warrington.
Look at Scales there. The poor man is left out on his own. They say Scales are full of weight. Well, he had plenty on his shoulder. He'd two men to look there. Davis lets the ball go, and it is superb play. The poor wingman, there's nothing he can do about that. Left all on his own. General Custer stuff.
Yes, Leeds are making a double substitution. Number 14, Marcus Vasilakopoulos. There's one for you, Eddie. And number 15, Gary Rose coming on. The two blokes coming off, Neil Harmon, the prop, and Mike O'Neill, the second rower.
So Doug Lawton tried to rejig his side to cope with this rampant Warrington team. Gary Rose, many people think a bit unfortunate to be left out of the side to make way for Harvey Howard, and he's now got a chance to prove the point. It's Harvey Howard, quite a full debut for him, isn't it?
Well, the defence certainly needed strengthening and toughening up, and they don't come any tougher than Gary Rose. We'll see plenty of fire now. In my book, the reason why Leeds have had this little bit of a, nearly taken there by Irving, but in my book, the reason why Leeds really have bounced back with some good form over the last few weeks was mainly through the fire and effort from Gary Rose. He really has led the way.
Warrington are right on the halfway line with Mark Foster, scorer of the hat-trick in this first half. His first hat-trick, let's emphasise again, for 7.5 years. Gregory straight at Hanley, two former Great Britain international captains there, tangling head-to-head. Ellis, long pass, and again Irving went for the interception.
Well, he's taking a big gamble, is Simon Irving. Now, when you get one man coming out of the straight line of defence like that, and that's really one of the big reasons why Warrington have made so many breaks. There you can see Irving. Okay, if he picks it up, it's great. If he had not got a fingertip to that, Warrington went in for another try. It's a gamble that Leeds can do without.
Great to see this Wilderspool Stadium packed again this afternoon. Not quite the lockout of last week, but they're starting to catch the imagination of this town, this Warrington side. Shelford, another ball out wide to Foster. This time, though, the defence stands firm. Howard was there, so was Scales and Stevens. Gregory, felled by Rose. Burstfield the dummy half. Shelford again. Here come Warrington down this right-hand side once more. Over the top. He had all the time in the world then. Another long pass. Davis again. Steps inside. It was a good tackle, and it had to be. This is Derbyshire. There's a bit of a knee there being used by Gary Rose. A real roughhouse of a player is Rose. It's the last tackle. Thursfield to Mackey, dabs it through, and well read by Tate.
Good attack, but great defence by Alan Tate. Read that well. Experience showing there.
Fallon is a strong lad for a winger.
Look at the position here from Tate. The super play. That's how to read the game, and by Jove, Leeds certainly need it.
Davis is having the riot act read to him by referee David Campbell. Jonathan Davis has tangled in the last couple of weeks with referees. There's something going on there. Davis may be interfering with the man on the floor, Fallon. They had plenty to say last week, did Jonathan Davis to Russell Smith, but this time it was David Campbell doing the talking. Leeds need a try, and quickly too. Stevens, Holroyd, back to Stevens. The charge was from Vasilakopoulos. Holroyd again, Ayres. The team of stars from Leeds has been outshone today so far by this Warrington side. Hanley tackled strongly by Derbyshire. Brought down also by Ellis. Less than 3 to go to half-time. It's the last tackle, and Leeds are running it. The ball gets away to Fallon. He keeps it alive, but straight into the arms of Davis. It would have been the turnover then anyway.
It certainly was the last tackle. Desperation from Leeds, trying to keep the ball alive. Big smile on Davis. the scoreline at 24-6. You're allowed to giggle.
Shelford. Gregory. Running at Holroyd and Stevens, the two youngsters. They stuck to their guns well. Here's Shelford again. He has been the key to this Warrington side as well. A lot is made of the Davis influence with Kelly Shelford. And Bateman, my word. Ellis. When they're on song and they're running hot, Warrington are good to watch.
They're great to watch, but it's also down to tactics, and the tactics are, let's not go down the middle against this big Leeds pack. Let's play it out wide. Scoreline tells you it's working.
It's Jim Fallon. I mentioned he's a big lad for a winger, and so he is. He actually played in the second row earlier this season. Here's Alan Tate. Gave Leeds the dream start. Calling Jonathan Scales in, the man brought into the big league by Doug Lawton from Gosforth Rugby Union. Here's Tate. Oh, that was nearly a good pass to Irving, but the ball was knocked down by a Warrington arm.
Well, this time it was Bateman taking the gamble. Irving would have been well and truly on his way. You can see that Mark Forster had also come through. That was a big gamble, but they can afford to take them. 24-6 in the front.
Stevens feeds and then finds Holroyd. Holroyd again. Knows that look forward to Tate. Lowe's still. Bundled to the floor by Penny.
Well, we wondered what psychological problems that Warrington would actually endure this week with that last-second loss to Wigan. But they've shown that they are capable of handling the upsets and bouncing back. And what a way to bounce back, 24-6 so far, seconds before the half-time break.
Last tackle for Leeds. They switched it down the short side. It bounced off a Warrington leg, that. It was on the last tackle. Although Leeds retained possession, you see there, well, Bateman did actually make a play for that, Steve-O.
Well, the referee has recorded it as a rebound, but on the replay there was a little bit of a stab at it. But let's be fair, when a ball is travelling to you from a kick, you don't have time to hold a meeting.
I just wonder whether Leeds' exploits in midweek against Castleford are costing them dearly here. I think this is a game now, this rough and tough, the most physically demanding of contact sports in the world. I don't think you can play 2 games in a week anymore. I mentioned that to Doug Lawton yesterday, and he said, well, we'll see tomorrow. This is Mackey. Just dabs that downfield, just to eat the clock up a bit more. We're deep in stoppage time.
Really does make this side tick, doesn't he? Took it on the blind side, realising that Scales was well out of position. Really has been a masterful player over the years, Greg Mackey. Reads the game so well.
Deep in stoppage time now. Leeds looking for something to rescue this first half with. Bateman coming over the top and clattering Lowe's to the floor. Stevens at dummy half. This is Gary Rose. Shoulder to shoulder with Derbyshire. Ball into no man's land. That's nice little inventive play from Holroyd. Mackey read it perfectly. It's a knock on, but Leeds have been given the advantage, are they? No, the ball has gone out, so the referee will pull them back for the scrum.
Nice play from Graham Holroyd. Really is the start of the future, but it's all to no avail. There goes the half-time hooter.
And so what a half it's been for Mark Forster and Warrington. A hat-trick for the winger. And Kelly Shelford has been at the hub of everything that Warrington have done. And they've had a perfect opening 40 minutes here. They lead 24 points to 6. They lead by 24 points to 6. And this after Leeds took a 6-0 lead. But then Mark Forster with 3 tries, Myler and Penny, and 2 goals from Davis really took this game by the scruff of the neck. What an opening 20 minutes for Mark Forster. The hat-trick. He really has played well, as Warrington have exploited the weakness down the right-hand side. And poor old Jonathan Scales in that Leeds defence, he must wonder what has hit him in the opening 40 minutes here. So 40 minutes to go in this Stonesborough Championship match. That's the top of the tree today. It really is the match of the day. Warrington knew before they started they could not afford to lose after going down narrowly against Wigan last week, and they're 40 minutes away from a morale-boosting victory. But Leeds will try and come out and hit them early and get back into this match, and it's not over yet, not by a long shot. Stevens scrapped to the floor by Hilton. Gary Rose running strongly. And here comes Harvey Howard, £105,000. Signed this week, full debut. Hanley. It only knows one way these days, that's straight down the middle. Lowers the dummy half to Holroyd. Slices off the outside of the boot and just finds the right side of the whitewash.
Wouldn't be happy with that, sliced away from the left foot. You could see the runners had already set off towards the corner.
I think it should be emphasised, Steve-O, that although Warrington lead by 24 points to 6, at Headingley in September they'd built a 19-6 advantage, and Leeds came back and won the match in the second half. So they won't be taking anything for granted at Wilderspool, not yet. Mark Hilton with the run. Mackie to Gregory to Shelford. Warrington looked to Shelford all the time to springboard their attack. Fallon wraps him up.
Tremendous player, isn't he, Shelford? Playing in a loose forward position.
What a run from Myler. Harvey Howard swinging the arm. Last tackle. David Campbell on the spot, saw nothing wrong with it. Mackie with the kick into the corner, and it beats Scales.
Didn't he drill this one? Plenty of power there. Look at that. Low trajectory. No chance for Jonathan Scales. And there's little doubt that Jonathan Scales is the man that they're going to play towards. The fact that Mark Foster, his opposite number, has already scored 3, and the way that Warrington are kicking into that left-hand corner indicates that they know that perhaps there's a bit of a weakness in this three-quarter line.
Warrington doing well, keeping Leeds' pen back, but there is poor old Jonathan Scales, who must have felt like King Canute in that first half. Ayres gets the ball away as he fell in the tackle. Hanley seems to be picking out Mike Gregory, running at each other. This is a big test of Dougie Lawton's coaching ability this second half. His team's confidence, Steve-O, must be shot to pieces.
Well, they got off to a flying start, didn't they? They took the lead, 6 points to 0. And they're on in. Warrington have taken full control. It's been so one-sided. The biggest problem for Leeds now is to regain possession and hold on to it for quite some time.
Gregory hit that one at pace. Great to see Mike Gregory back in the action after all his injury problems, and Hanley interfering as Gregory tried to get to his feet. He's penalised.
Referee shouting, get away. There you see it. Both of them basically at fault. Harvey Howard, for me, was the culprit. A few words exchanged to the referee, David Campbell. He's allowed to do that, of course, Ellery Hanley. He's the captain. Only 2 players allowed to discuss anything with the referee during the period of the play. There's Harvey Howard. getting back to that, Eddie, only 2 players. Not often we see just 2 players, though. Having a few words of wisdom to say to our merry whistleblowers.
Well, there's someone who had plenty to say last week after the penalty was awarded against Wigan, that in the end won the match. I think we picked out Paul Cullen as the culprit, but apparently Jonathan Davis said plenty to referee Russell Smith. So Davis taking his time. There's a very strong wind blowing at his back. Referee's called time off because the ball fell off the sand. But Davis from bang in front, 9 metres inside the Leeds half, straight as a die, over the top of the black dot. 2 more points for Warrington. Saying yesterday, Jonathan Davis, he had a bit of a thigh strain, and I was wondering whether he was going to duck out of this match at the last minute, but I bet he is glad that he hasn't now. Holroyd restarts. Oh, mistake from Gregory. Ooh, and as he went past Ellery Hanley, the elbow came up.
Just brought it back at the last minute. Ooh, just swiveled it away. 2 words by David Campbell, just on the run there.
So this is a big chance now for Leeds. Head and feet at the scrum, but the referee wants it to reform.
That's an unusual one.
And they've got it against the head again, Warrington. That's the 2nd time in this match. That's bad scrummaging by Leeds. And that's bad play by Warrington. The ball has come free. Kevin Ellis, I think it was, who just lost the ball in the tackle. A huge bang on his chest, and the ball spewed out.
Was the impact. Great defence, but good play by John Thursfield, the Warrington hooker. It's the 2nd occasion he's struck against the head. Not easy these days.
Must have long legs, because scrum halves these days feed behind the legs of the 2nd rowers, don't they? But 2 against the head for Warrington. Maybe they've read the Steve-O coaching manual.
Didn't know there was one.
Harvey Howard picks out Derbyshire, and Derbyshire stands up to the test well with a bit of help from Phillips. Here's Gareth Stevens. That's a lovely step from Stevens. It was a high challenge coming in on him from Penny. It's the last tackle for Leeds. They're so close now. That's a good ball, and Ayres with the try, but I think it's been ruled out for a forward pass.
It has.
It's not Leeds' day.
Well, 2 tries came to Warrington from the forward pass, and to be fair, none was worse than that. But it certainly was. David Campbell in a good position, and Leeds' luck deserts them.
Leeds had a try disallowed for a forward pass against Castleford on Wednesday too. Well, we're coming up to 8 minutes of this 2nd half gone. I wonder what was said in the dressing rooms at half-time. Mark Wallace will tell us.
In the Leeds dressing room, Doug Lawton told his troops to stop the ball going down the blind side. That's where most of the tries came from. And, of course, to work harder around the ruck. In the Warrington dressing room, Brian Johnson has told his team to work with the same passion as in the first half. Leeds, they know, will have had an ear bashing from Doug Lawton at half-time, so they will have come out fired up. And after last week, they know that absolutely anything can happen in this game.
Talking about an ear bashing, how's this? If that's not high, then my hair will grow tonight. That was a very hard knock indeed. Not seen by the referee, neither the 2 touch judges.
I think Brian Johnson got a look at it, because his reaction when we saw him said it all, and that is a swinging right arm from Harvey Howard.
The forearm going right over the top of the shoulder. Well, in my book, the new signing, Harvey Howard, is a very lucky man indeed. Watch this. Crunch. Intent? Yes.
And the referee had a clear view of that, and he's decided to take no action. says to Mackey, get on with it. It's back with Davis. Davis clips the ball downfield into no man's land. Fallon's after it, but he leaves it for Tate.
You saw the wonderful advantage that Warrington will have in this second half. It's quite a strong wind, even though Davis has put under a lot of pressure. And that looked pretty high from some of the Warrington players also. This is getting a little bit warm.
Yes, David Campbell's got it all under control. This is Simon Irving now. And that was a cruncher from Derbyshire. Hanley. He has such strength. He sucks 4 men into the tackle. It's back with Holroyd. Holroyd drifts one over the top. That will be too strong. It runs dead.
Amazing kick from the youngster there against the wind. Probably surprised the number 6 there for Leeds. One of the up-and-coming stars, but he'll be quite happy, will the coach, Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, he's using the radio there. That's a brand new radio, because last week, when the penalty was given, apparently in the Wigan match, in the last few moments, he threw the radio at the wall, and it was in pieces. Such frustration, but no frustration today.
Hardly surprising if it hit the wall. I know the Japanese are clever, but not that clever.
Yes, the telecommunications industry is so important in modern-day rugby league. Coaches watch upstairs, pass messages down to their men on the benches. Davis keeps the ball alive, but with a forward pass. The referee hasn't missed the 2 forward passes so far, this half.
Well, things getting a little bit scrappy there. There was never any chance of trying to get that ball away. Possession is vital. Often occurs with a team that got such a commanding lead, they get overconfident.
That's a strong run from Jim Fallon. Warrington, in the shape of Kevin Ellis, had it all to do to bring him down. Now Tate has moved up, straight into the arms of Mackey, and the referee says play on. Tate is stood still like a statue. He can't believe that he's not received the penalty.
Well, he kicked through there, and Mackey committed himself to the tackle. He doesn't have to get out of the way. Good positioning by David Campbell, the referee. Oh!
Dear, dear, that was a very high swing indeed. Derbyshire, his head went back under the challenge from Howard.
But to be fair, Derbyshire was running low. It was a shoulder to shoulder. Look at that, he's fired up, isn't he? Harvey Howard. Well, not only is it getting warm, it's getting to the boiling point.
Davis's kick into the corner. And Jonathan Scales will try and run this ball out. But Harvey Howard is wound up for this. And he won't be enjoying this scoreline, but that was another swinging arm from Derbyshire.
It certainly was. Right over the top, and Irving is screaming at the referee. Still having a little bit of a chatter with Campbell, and rightly so. Look at that. Oh, come on, ref.
That's a great run from Rose, but he loses it. Gregory loses his feet and is then wrestled to the ground by Lowe's.
Well, it was the fingertips, wasn't it, that came at it?
Davis saw a little gap, and it was closed down by Cummins and Holroyd. Ellis the dummy half. Phillips. It really is like little Wales here at Wilderspool, isn't it? Davis, Ellis, Bateman, Phillips, Griffiths, the Welsh coach, the assistant. Shelford takes it to himself, quite legal. There was no one standing in front of him. The ball out wide to Bateman. Bateman for the corner. Good defence from Richie Ayres. Last tackle for Warrington. Bateman wants to get on with it. Thursfield spreads it wide to Ellis. Ellis stabs the ball forward, spinning around. And luckily for Leeds, Alan Tate was there.
Saved the day again, did Tate. But good play once again from Greg Mackey. realising the last tackle, the little grubber kick, anything can happen in there, bouncing all off the legs.
Well, one of the Warrington heroes of last season, Bob Jackson, has not been involved much this season because of injury, but he's watching and I'm sure enjoying what he's seeing. He's talking to with Mark Wallace.
Bob, passions are beginning to ride pretty high out there now.
That's right, we've just got to keep our discipline and we've got to control the ball, keep hold of it and make them do all the running, as it were, you know, and just keep our discipline, not get dragged into anything.
I suppose it's understandable, really, after last week's result as well.
That's right, we played with a lot of passion last week and not a lot of head, but if you think about the game that we had before against Leeds, where we blew it after leading 9-6, we rushed into the game and we seem to be doing that again. We've got to control the football, hang on to it for 5, slow the game down. We've got the win with us, kick it deep and pin them back, you know, let them run it to us.
This talk of a Leeds sort of revival has certainly been quashed, hasn't it?
Oh, mate, I don't think they're that good a side. You know, got good individual players, got good individual strike players, but I don't think maybe they don't play for each other. I don't know what the problem is up there, but I don't think they're that good a side, you know.
Bob Jackson, a touch dismissive about today's opposition, 26-6. I suppose he's entitled to his view as Davis receives treatment to a bang on the nose. That's a lovely kick forward. Oh, it just eluded Mark Foster, scuttling down that wing. What a kick through the defence by Mackey.
Well, we mentioned earlier that he could read the game very well. That was a planned move. You could see that Scales had moved up very quickly, failing to drop back late in the tackle count. You have to have your wits about you, and if you have not, then Greg Mackey is the one that can absolutely crucify you with them.
Davis rejoins the line to support this defence. Oh, and Vasilakopoulos was almost spear tackled. That's so dangerous when a man comes down head first. It's totally illegal too.
Well, that should be a penalty. The attempt was there. Nothing done by David Campbell. Okay, he didn't go head first, but prevention is far better than the cure, surely.
Your heart goes in your mouth when you see that, doesn't it? It really does. Tate with this run. He has support from Irving. Hanley is there too. Tate continues the run. Fallon in support. Ball out wide to Cummins. Leeds are in. Francis Cummins slides in. It's his 7th try of the season. 17-year-old prospect. Great try for Leeds and just at the right time.
Super football from Alan Tate. Long ball out wide. And watch how the fullback comes through. Irving run as a dummy runner. Through the dummy. And Davis was left. Look how he just positioned himself there. Good support from Irving. Back inside. Tate did well to get the ball away. Fallon out wide. Super stuff from the youngster Francis Cummins. Well taken try. Leeds back in this game. Superb play. It's great to see how the fullbacks move in. Look how he sent Davis. Breaking across there. Irving support. Tate again. The defence is shot to ribbons. And the finish is absolutely spot on. Well done, the youngster.
Francis Cummins' try. Here's the Leeds revival about to pick up pace because a few moments ago, Graham Holroyd from out on the touchline, left-footed, found the mark straight between the uprights. 6 more for Leeds, 26-12. Remember at Headingley in September, 19-6 to Warrington it was, and Leeds came back and won it. Is lightning about to strike twice?
Well, the Warrington coach, Brian Johnson, will be aware of that. The message, I'm sure, will be going, and there's no one there to even receive that kick. Open space. Wouldn't be happy with that, Brian Johnson. But Davis took the opportunity there. Wide space.
Leeds heading field and Stevens has it. And I just wonder whether Leeds will remember that day in September when they came back and plucked a victory from the jaws of defeat. I'm sure that Warrington and their coach Steve-O, as you rightly say, will be remembering it too.
Well, there's 21 minutes of this game remaining. It's so important now that Leeds just roll the sleeves up, get to the game pattern. Perhaps a little bit more running from the halfbacks, Holroyd and Stevens now. They're sniffing the chance.
The radio message apparently from Brian Johnson is that Warrington must up the tempo and play with more passion. Leeds have certainly come into it in the last 10 minutes. Holroyd slides one through. That's a great kick. Vasilakopoulos is after it. But Forster, the try scorer with the hat-trick, is there to clear the danger.
Excellent play from the youngster Holroyd. Vasilakopoulos was there. It was a planned move, but Forster, he's been the hero of the day, hasn't he? 3 tries, saved one then. He knows that there's still a chance. He knows that he's saved a try.
There is definitely a chance. The gap's 14 points and we have a quarter of this match remaining. And they're waiting for the ball to come back out of the crowd. Jonathan Davis sharing a joke with the Leeds supporters. Hanley will run the ball back for Leeds. He'll run round Ellis. It's a great run from the Leeds skipper. Back into the danger zone. Leeds are on the roll here. Stevens. Holroyd trying to go through the gap. Good tackling from Greg Mackey. Plenty of time in the bank for Leeds. Howard gets the ball away, keeps it alive. Irving is all wrapped up by Greg Mackey. Here's Gary Rose now. Bounces off the shoulder of Derbyshire. Tate has joined the line. Tate sees a little gap. Closed down by Phillips.
And those gaps that appeared in this Warrington defence.
Here's someone who can exploit them. Hanley going for the line on his own. And held up by Hilton. And a bit of weight from Penny fells the Leeds captain. Lowe's gives it to Ayres. He's in! Oh, the fight back's underway! Richie Ayres right under the posts. Leeds are back in business.
The planned move, the second punch, run across on the dummy half position. Hanley did the run. Beautiful play there. We said that the Widnes defence was allowing the gaps to come through. And this is a planned move. He's trying to get up quickly. The Warrington defence is getting back on the line. Look at the inside pass. Crunch, head down. They went high. They paid the price. And Leeds are back in this game.
They are back in a big way. That was Richie Ayres' first try since October. And from bang in front, young Graham Holroyd has added the extra 2. It's not over until the lady sings 26-18.
The fat lady.
Suddenly, the Leeds supporters find their voice. Well, well, well. Are we in for another great escape by the men from Headingley? Remember what happened on Sky in September.
And full credit to Leeds. They rolled the sleeves up. They started to find the gaps. They started to take on this Warrington defence. They're running with a lot more vim and vigour now. The confidence is running high. 8 points in it. And plenty of time.
Such an important penalty goal from Jonathan Davis. The only Warrington score in this second half. Here's Holroyd. Leeds is starting to run riot. Howard, one-handed, gets the ball away. It's Vasilakopoulos. Out wide to Cummins. Warrington at 6s and 7s in defence. Oh, and it was a good job that little dink ahead by Lowe's found the Warrington jersey of Davis.
Well, Vasilakopoulos was trying to get it inside to Tate. Vasilakopoulos, beautiful play. But the kick there from James Lowe's was just picked up on the burst by Davis.
Possession has swung Leeds' way this second half. They're clawing their way back into a match that looked as though it was slipping well away from them. And they've suddenly started to run with conviction and belief. It's a sensational match again.
They need the big kick downfield.
That will eat a few seconds up on the clock. Davis's grubber kick downfield.
Good thinking by Davis. All the panic, all the pressure around him. He kept cool, realised the importance of making sure that Leeds go back into their own half.
Here come Leeds with Fallon. Strength from Fallon. Tate. Fallon gets away somehow from Derbyshire, gets the ball back to Tate. Leeds are eager and anxious now. They all want to get involved.
Wonderful passage of play from Alan Tate. He's come up from the full-back position. He's playing as like a number 6, an extra three-quarter there. But Leeds are playing the ball a lot quicker now. They mean business.
Here's Stevens with the run. The ball back inside to Gary Rowe, to Richie Ayres. Here's Hanley again. Hanley has stepped up a gear. It's no coincidence. He dropped that, though. It's no coincidence when Hanley has stepped the gear up that Leeds have come into this.
I think Mike Gregory went for it. That should have been a penalty. Very fortunate indeed. He knew it was desperation time. He took the gamble and got away with it. No doubt in my book that was not free by Mike Gregory, the Warrington second row. But do you notice how the Warrington defence are tired? They are not moving up as quick as they did in the first half. The gaps are well and truly appearing.
Shelford, he says, let's get out of here. Plants the kick downfield. Bateman's after it. Forster's after it. Leeds have it, though, in the shape of Tate. And they're all onside because they were behind the kicker, Shelford. That's a great chase from Warrington.
Super kick, super chase. Tate was wanting someone to help him out there. There was just no one there.
What a great advert for the big league this game is, though. Warrington 26, Leeds 18, 67 minutes gone. Rose with the head down. Just 8 points the difference. And it's all coming off at the moment for Leeds, and Warrington are being stretched in defence. Last tackle this is. That's why Holroyd's put the kick in. Myler has it for Warrington. Runs through Stevens, but can't run through the next two.
Great play by Myler there.
Oh, Stevens again. Well, he's taken a couple of heavy knocks there. One from Myler, that one from Penny. Here's Gregory. Stevens is there again. Howard has it. Rose is there, and Francis Cummings too.
It's all about composure now for Warrington. They have to use the big forwards and then get the ball downfield. Let's get out of here. It's all about putting yourself into that position, into the opposition's quarter.
Shelford, Davis. And suddenly now Leeds are tackling for all they're worth. Mackey hoists the bomb. Tate's underneath it. Oh, they've spilt it. Mackey's there, and he's spilt it. There was a collision between Tate and another Leeds player, and Mackey knows that that chance has slipped him by.
Well, I can't believe that. Simon Irving, Alan Tate, no one called for that. Bad misunderstanding between the two Leeds players. And Greg Mackey, the Warrington skipper, couldn't believe his eyes. It was there on the graph to be picked up. A simple try as the rain comes sheeting down.
Well, Alan Tate collided with Simon Irving, almost presented the chance for Greg Mackey on a plate. But Mackey just couldn't hang on. Substitutions now for Warrington. We'll catch up with the details in a moment because Davis is heading for the corner. Davis is in! Jonathan Davis scored this victory now for Warrington. Unlucky for some, but the Welshman with his 13th try of the season.
Take a walk on the blind side. Super play by Mackey. You can see how Ellis runs back, pulls it through there, and I'm afraid the defence, if you miss on that occasion, it was Stevens and Davis was through. Super play, run wide, the dummy was through. Here he comes, Ellis, it's a work move, and if you miss your tackle on the blind side, and that was super stepping from the Welsh wizard. Runs across, Stephen peels away, Ellis comes on at the angle and takes it. Now you can see the Leeds defence, they've just hung away. Stevens came out all on his own. Once that man was beaten, the try was always going to be scored.
The first of 1994 for Jonathan Davis. Perhaps it just blows the Leeds candle out because it was burning so very, very brightly. Davis then will try and make his 4 into 6. Wind assisted, but he clipped it across the face of the post. But Warrington have hit the 30-point mark and Leeds 18.
Blindside move, he's all on his own, is Stevens. If you miss, that is where the gap appears. And you can't afford to do that. But look at the step, in and out, superb stuff.
I've lost count of the number of tries that Warrington have scored down in that right-hand corner. But there's another one for Davis. And we're into the last 10 minutes. 30 points to 18. Substitutions have been made on both sides. Let's get up to date with Mark.
Just to keep you up to date with them, Neil Harmon and Mike O'Neill have gone back on for Leeds, and Harvey Howard and Gary Rose have come off. And for Warrington, David Elliott, who went off very early in the first half, he's come back on. And Mike Gregory has come off, and he was not happy at all. He threw his tracksuit down.
Well, they don't like to leave an occasion like this, any player, and Gregory, certainly a man who doesn't want to leave the stage, particularly on a day like this, which now looks like it's turning back Warrington's way. But Gregory, for the good of the club, will say nothing, I'm sure.
Well, it has to. It's a 15-man squad. That's what it's all about these days. Good move by the coach, Brian Johnson, because David Elliott, he really is a tyro when it comes down to defence.
Davis with a drop goal attempt to settle it. He's kicked it. That's one of the longest drop goals we've ever seen on the big league. And the smile on Brian Johnson's face says it all. Sit back, watch this.
Every picture tells a story. That is CLASS, class of a Welsh cup.
From the halfway line, admittedly with the wind at his back, but it means now, in the last 8 minutes or so, Leeds must score 3 times. And watch the reaction. He knew it was there. Enjoyed it. So a match that looked in danger of slipping away from them has suddenly, in the last 5 minutes or so, gone very much back in the Warrington camp. But what a classic it has been, Steve. What a great game again.
Super game, some great attack, some great defence, but the tactics, in my book, have been the highlight of today. Just shows you that the coaches work hard in the build-up to these games. And it really has been a triumph for Warrington coach Brian Johnson. Super stuff to watch.
Here's Harmon, will not be enjoying his first return to Wilderspool, but Brian Johnson, certainly one of the deepest thinkers in the game. Penny spills the high kick downfield, but the ball went back towards Warrington's own line, so it's play on.
Well, Warrington quite comfortable now, know that they've got the valuable 2 points. Their biggest problem now is not to lose their composure, not to be sucked into anything stupid. We saw silly things happen against Wigan, which lost them the game. in the dying seconds. They won't lose this one, but they don't need someone to be sent off or anything silly like that.
Thursfield to David Elliott. He has watched much of this match unfold from the bench. Here's Shelford, clips a diagonal ball in field. Tate can hear them all racing towards him, but keeps his eye on the ball. And Fallon is wrapped up by Bateman, then by Shelford, gets the ball away, but this is risky business by Leeds inside their own quarter. But well done, Jonathan Scales. What a sensational run from Scales. Up to halfway. Well, he's had a nightmare in defence, and it's not been his fault.
No, you can't put all the blame on him. The defensive pattern of Leeds has been really suspect at times, but that was a great run from the winger there.
And they're not giving it away, Leeds, are they? Richie Ayres must have thought when he went over for that try under the post that Leeds were very much back in business. Noticeable that Hanley upped the pace too. Both sides working hard for their money today.
Full credit to Leeds. There was a bit of a lull in the Warrington defence, and the way that they started, they looked pretty tired. But when you've got a man like Jonathan Davis come through, score a beautiful try, and then puts over a drop goal, an enormous drop goal, that lifts your confidence no end.
Holroyd's kick has caught the wind. It bounces kindly for Warrington in the end. Derbyshire watched it bounce, as did Hanley. Here's Lee Penny. Good tackling. Jim Fallon. Derbyshire has worked hard since he's come on, but you're enjoying this one. I know you will enjoy next Friday, one of the occasions of the season, live and exclusive here on Sky Sports. This Leeds team against Wigan. Ellis, Davis, ball out wide, not the best tackle, not the best pass rather, but it was a good tackle from Francis Cummins to put him off.
Great tackle by Cummins. You could see that he aimed towards the arms, which dragged the ball away. Super thinking by the youngster Cummins. But that was a great drive by Warrington. 4 forward rushes, and they made over 60 yards.
This is a result that will take Warrington back to the top of the table.
He's tried his heart out, hasn't he, the fullback Alan Tate. He's trying to get this ship well and truly steadied for Leeds.
O'Neill keeps the ball alive. Holroyd comes out with it. Richie Ayres running strongly. Stevens, Holroyd. Clips it over the top. There's Holroyd. Rob Myler was there to clear up the danger. And Rob Myler will set off on one of his runs. Can't get away from Tate though. The Leeds and Great Britain full-back waited for him and pulled him in. Just to confirm, this match will put Warrington back to the top of the table by 2 points. But crucially, Wigan do have matches in hand. After this today, they will have 3 games in hand on Warrington. This is Ellis out wide to Myler. The ball was palmed down. It will come back for the scrum.
Well, at 31 points to 18 lead, you can take those sort of gambles. Normally, a professional player like Rob Myler wouldn't even attempt something like that. With Lady Luck against them, Larry Hanley just going to import to it, so it's head and feed, Warrington possession.
Mackey just punched that one along the ground into the arms of Myler. Here's Davis. Ellis, Roland Phillips. That Welsh triumvirate. What a run from Phillips into the last minute. It's a Warrington victory. They're just trying to finish in style.
Gee, they've worked hard, this Warrington pack.
Mackey. Shelford. And somebody took a bang on the head there. It was James Lowes, I think. Here's Phillips trying to duck under the tacklers. Just held up less than a metre short. Last tackle. Phillips tries to push the ball forward, but it's a penalty.
Well, you can see that Phillips moved off the mark to play the football. You're only allowed to play the football in the area that you've been tackled, but Phillips took a step to the side. Well caught there by the referee, David Campbell.
James Lowes it is who was down, receiving treatment for a crack on the head, despite the fact that he wears a scrum cap. Pressure from Warrington. Mike O'Neill drops it again. More pressure from Warrington. And now they have a chance to attack down this left-hand side. Davis is there. Myler is there. There's the icing on that cake. Rob Myler. The points for Warrington's. The second try of the day for Myler. And this has been a great win from the side that had to pick itself up off the canvas after last week's defeat by Wigan.
You make the mistake, you pay the price. The loose ball coming away. The referee said that one had gone back, but the impact of the tackle you'll see here, the ball being loosed away, Lowe trying to get it, but he couldn't. Mackey, eager as ever, switch out. Ellis, look at this lovely ball out wide to Davies. Look how he sucks them both in, brings in the two players. I'm afraid Fallon have got no chance with that, and Robbie Myler nearly finishes up the lens of our camera. Wow.
Rob Myler, he is having a wow of a season, the Warrington winger. The man from Widnes St Mary's, signed in 1989. This is his best season in the Warrington colours. Now, Jonathan Davis, if he kicks this, will give Warrington their best score of the season. 36 points, the previous best against Sheffield. 36 points, still the best against Sheffield. It's 35-18. Great win. Warrington Steve-O back on course.
Super win. That was a super try. Excellent play by Jonathan Davis. The object of any centre is to attract two players to you, create the overlap. That's what occurred on that last try. It sucked in the winger and the centre. Fallon had come in, the gap was there, Myler finished off. It has been some superb football here today.
And Irving is beginning to lose his rag. And the referee wants a word in the closing stages. Mackey was grounded, as you see, and Irving finished him off on the deck.
Just went down for a bit of a flop, frustration coming into it. David Campbell on hand to sort the matter out, and the matter will be sorted out with a penalty to Warrington.
James Lowes, by the way, has gone off after that bang on the head, and there's nobody available on that Leeds bench to come on for him. So Leeds will finish this match, 3.5 minutes of injury time played, with only 12 players, and I'm afraid that was high on Mark Hilton.
Well, we said things were going to hot up. Hilton got it fair and square from
Irving again.
Simon Irving. And quite frankly, after being cautioned, and Irving should walk. That we can do without, and he has. Rightly so. Well done, Mr. Campbell. No need for that in our game. Frustration, we gave him the benefit of the doubt seconds before. That one he fully deserves. It's crunch time. People can get seriously hurt with that. With seconds of a game remaining, We do not need that in rugby league football.
And Doug Lawton would agree with you, Steve, I'm sure.
Everyone in rugby league will agree with you on that. Any youngsters watching, we do not want that in our game. That is not what we call professional football. Skills is what we want in our game.
So Davis now has this penalty to give Warrington their best score of the season. 35-18 it is. Almost 5 minutes of stoppage time gone. What a great return from Davis. Is it 3 from 8? Someone's having a chip at him as he takes this kick. It's on its way. It's Warrington's best score of the 93-94 season. 37-18. Richie Ayres and Jonathan Davis shake hands. Mark Forster with the first half hat-trick. He is the man of the match. Jonathan Davis, the catalyst for this Warrington revival. But my word, they have all worked so very, very hard. It's been a great win.